Alright, so let's take a look at this function. And what we want to do here is we want to find f prime. We want to take the derivative of that. Alright, so let's go ahead and use our chain rule. So we're going to take the derivative of the outside. So that 1/2 is going to come to the front. Alright. And remember, the inside, all this is going to stay the same. Right? The inside stays exactly the same. And I think the mistake over here happened. Let me see. I think right there and right there. I think we made some moves a little too fast. Alright, so here we get x to the 1/2. That's not changing. Minus 4 raised to the 5th power plus 2x. Alright, and actually, let me go ahead and use the brackets. And now, with that 1/2, we go ahead and we're going to subtract 1 from that. Alright, and then you're going to multiply that. I'm going to multiply it by the derivative of the inside. And we'll call this inside, we'll call that g of x. So right now we're going to take the derivative. And because I ran out of space, I'll just call it g of x. Alright, so we're going to multiply it by the derivative of all this. So let's do a little recap. So first, this 1/2, it moved to the front. The inside, we know, stays the same. Right? And then you subtract 1 from the exponent. Okay, and then we're going to multiply it times the derivative. Now we're going to take the derivative of the inside. So that's what this means right here. Alright, so there's step 1. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So let's jump to step 2.
Hey folks, viewer mail time again. Oh, here's one from Sally, age 14. Dear Pig, aren't you interrupting the story at the most suspenseful part? Well, the answer is yes, Sally. Yes, I am. Keep those cards and letters coming.
Alright, I want to thank our sponsors for that. So let's get back to this problem. Alright, so notice g of x is that inside stuff. So it's the x to the 1/2 minus 4 raised to the 5th power plus 2x. So again, I'm interested in what g of x is because according to this, I'm going to have to take the derivative of that. So g of x was just the inner function. Alright, so let's take the derivative of this now. Alright, so here we go. We know that that 5 comes to the front. The inside stays exactly the same. So again, that 5 came to the front. The inside stays the same, right? Because we're really using the chain rule again. And then I subtract 1 from that 5. So that's why I get an exponent of 4. And now we're going to multiply that by the derivative of the inner function. So now I take the derivative of this. So the derivative of x to the 1/2, the 1/2 comes to the front. Oops. The 1/2 comes to the front. And then the base stays the same, but now I subtract 1 from the exponent. So that becomes 1/2 minus 1. And I get negative 1/2. Alright, so this is the derivative of this piece, right? We brought the 1/2 to the front, and then we subtracted 1 from the exponent, and we end up with that. And now when we take the derivative of negative 4, right, that's nothing, that goes away. So this right here is the derivative of only this piece right here. Now, let's go ahead and take plus, right, plus the derivative of 2x. So the derivative of 2x is just plus 2. Alright, so now let's go ahead and notice all this is the derivative of g of x. So that's what I'm going to put right here. So I'm going to rewrite this. This stays exactly the same times this ugly mess. So here we go. We're left with 1/2 times the quantity x to the 1/2 power minus 4 to the 5th power plus 2x, everything raised to the negative 1/2 power, times this mess right here that we just found, all this. 5 x to the 1 half power minus 4 raised to the 4th power times 1 half x to the negative 1 half power plus 2. And because this problem was a little bit more challenging than normal, that's okay if we don't simplify, if we just leave it like that. Because again, what I really wanted to dig into is making sure we knew how to use all these rules kind of put together. So was it complicated? Yes, but it's a thought process, right? We really have to understand what's going on. All right, folks, so hopefully that was helpful. Stay safe, and I'll be talking to you all soon.